Now today we'll start the topic with Newton's law of motion. Okay. Now everybody know that there are three Newton's laws of motion. Okay. Now the first law is if a body is in rest or uniform motion, it will remain same state until unless an external force acts on it. That means here the four keywords are there, whether the force is in rest or uniform motion, same state when external force acts on it. Now here what this means is, for example, if a body is at rest, or if you take one more body which is in motion, it is moving with some velocity v. That means this body, just when you go through the engineering mechanics definition, what it gives, it's a study of state of the body when acting upon a force. Now, when the force is acting, it will have an effect on its state. Now we know that state may be at rest or in motion. Okay, state may be at rest or in motion. Now these two bodies, this one when it is rest or when it is moving with uniform velocity, they used to continue with the same state unless an external force acts on it. That means, for example, if this is the body A, okay, which is at rest, this continues to be in rest until some force, for example, some force is acting on it, F force. Then the state may be changing. Because of this force, the body may start moving. Until the force acts, the body used to be in at rest only. Here, for example, this body is moving with velocity, uniform velocity. That means it is moving with the same velocity. Uniform motion means the magnitude and direction. Magnitude and direction both should be same, then only you can say that it is in uniform motion. That means in the same direction, the same magnitude. Okay, now it continues to be in the same way unless a force acts. For example, some force is acting in the opposite direction to that whatever the motion direction. So what will happen, this body will become becomes rest or its velocity may change. So these effects will take place when an external force will act. This is what Newton said in its first law. This is what Newton said in its first law. Now in this law, what he said that he has given an effect of force. He has told an effect of force. What quantity of force is acting, that he didn't told. So he has given that in its second law. So in the first law, he said that some force, if some force acts, the body state will affect. If the body is in rest or in motion, it continues to be maintain the same thing unless a force acts on it. This is what Newton said in his first law. So we have seen it. If the body is in rest, it continues to be in rest unless some force acts on it. And now, if the body is in motion, it continues to be in motion unless some force acts on it. So the state of the body may change because of the force. This is what Newton said. That means there is some force is acting. He said that he mentioned the term force, but the magnitude of force, how much force it is acting, he didn't told. He told it is in the second law of motion. The second law, force is applied is equals to rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum. That means if you write down in equation words, so what you are going to get is rate of change. So for example, capital M I am taking as momentum. So it is dt. So the force is equals to rate means per second. Per second, how much change in its momentum. Momentum is what? Momentum is nothing but it's a product of mass and velocity. Mass is one physical quantity, mv, or you can say that m that mass is one physical quantity and velocity. Okay. Now the velocity, you will be having the magnitude and both the directions. Now if you do the product of these two physical quantity differentiation, differentiation, what you are going to get is mass, if you keep mass constant, and dv by dt plus, if you keep velocity constant, dm by. Now this is what is equals to force. Now if I ask everybody what will be the second law means, you normally used to say F equal to ma, but it's not like that. F equal to, what is this dv by dt? If I write like this here, m, what is dv by dt? That means change in velocity with respect to time, acceleration. So I will write down this v. This dm by dt is nothing but the change of mass with respect to time. I will tell you this term. This is entire thing is equals to force applied on a body. That means whenever a body is there, some force is acting on that. What will be the quantity of force is acting? That is equals to mass of the body, acceleration plus velocity of the body if it is motion, and change of the mass with respect to time. If in this condition, what I will take is, if velocity is constant, if velocity is constant, then what our equation will become? F equal to, so now the equation will become velocity dm by dt. Keep this aside. Now if mass is constant, so what you are going to get? The quantity of force m, because here dm term will become 0. So 0. M is constant. So the what you are going to get? F equal to ma. That means if mass on the body is constant, if force is acting, then the force acted on the body is equals to mass of the body into acceleration. Acceleration of the body. That means because of this force, the body may become into motion. So because the mass is constant, then it should be in motion. So when it is in motion, the change of velocity with respect to time, that acceleration of the body. So if the product of these two terms will give the, what will be the quantity of force is acting on the body. So for example, if the motion takes place in the x direction, So then Fx equals to m into acceleration also will take place in the x direction. Now if the force is taking place in y direction, Fy is equals to Fy is equals to m into Ay. Now, so if the force taking in z direction, F into z equation. If, for example, if the motion is rotary motion, so it may be on tangential direction, then F into AT. So if maybe radial direction, F into AR, M into AR. So these are all the conditions. That means the way the body is in motion, it is in x direction. So you can calculate will be the what will be the net effect of the force in along the x direction. These all we calculate in our mechanics. When we will take this equation is F equal to V into dm means it is in fluid mechanics. So this equation also will, because everybody will know this F equal to ma. F equal to ma is will be applied on a rigid bodies. So in our mechanics we used to take F equal to ma. But in fluid mechanics, whenever we are going to find out what will be the force exerted on the fluid, so what you are going to get, it's the product of mass flow rate into the velocity of the fluid. Mass flow rate into the velocity of the fluid. For example, if you take a rocket, okay, now when it is going up, so because of the burning of the fuel, so much burning of the fuel, what will happen, this fuel is burning na? So the weight of the rocket will lose na? Because of that. So what will happen now in that condition also we use that force exerted V equal to dm by dt. That means the mass is changing with respect to time, so we have to keep the rocket with the same velocity. So in that case also you will take this equation, not this F equal to m. So like that, whatever the conditions we required, we will apply in this main equation. What is this main equation? This is F equal to m into dv by dt plus v into dm by dt. This is what the Newton said in its second law. So once again, I am in force. Newton's second law is force applied is equals to rate of change of momentum of the body. If the m is constant, so then that net force applied is equals to mass into acceleration. If v is constant, then net force is equals to product of velocity into mass flow rate. This is what is said in its second law. Now the third law is, what is that? Each action has equal and opposite reaction. Each action will be having equal and opposite reaction. For example, I am taking here, okay, and this may be a wall surface, this may be a floor surface, okay, here one beam is there like this. Now a person is standing here on the floor. Now he is applying some force P to keep this beam from the wall, but here it is fixed, this beam is fixed, but he is applying some force P. Now he is applying some force, there should be some reaction, no? Because he wants to move this body, that means move this beam from here, but due to this constraint, wall constraint, what will happen? The beam will not move in this direction. Why? Because this will keep in one opposite reaction will be there, because he is moving this direction, this will keep the beam in this direction, though this will be the reaction. So if you want to write down it, okay, now what I will do is I will separate this body with support system. Okay, now here the person, he is here, everything I am supporting, everything I am separating from each other. So I will say that because the person is applying, so what you are going to get here, some force here you are going to get here, because some force. Now there will be this person, the force is applying on the body will be here. This is action force, the person whatever he is applying on the body. So the body will also apply same equal and opposite force on the person. That will be the, this will be the reaction. So because of this reaction, same there will be a force on the wall. So wall also exerts same force on the body. So everything will be nullified. So body always is in rest because of the fixed constraint. Because of the fixed constraint, this will be the action. This will be the reaction. Normally, the student will confuse that this is action and this is reaction. No, the action and reaction will always on the different body. That means, for example, the person here is pulling the body with a force P. So that means he is applying the Phi force on the body. This is action. He is applying Phi force. Now the body will apply on this person is the same Phi to keep this body is in rest. So this is reaction. So this is action. This is reaction. Likewise, the same kind. For example, in the previous case also, what I told is a rocket thing. Also, you can same assume that. Okay, now because of this burning fuel, action on the, sorry, so same thing, this force will make impact on the rocket. That will be the reaction which makes the rocket to move upward. So this is Newton's law of motion. Okay, now we will move this with this Newton's laws of motion to the next topic, is a force system. What is meant by force system? The force system is nothing but if more than one force is acting on the body. If more than one force is acting on the body, then that system is called force system. That means more than one force acts on the body, that is called force system. Then force system is classified into two categories. One is coplanar force system. One is coplanar force system. Here the coplanar force system is nothing but is a single plane system. That means 2D, which is having a single plane means plane is a two-dimensional one which is having length and width. That means on a single plane, if the forces are acting, that force system, more than one force is acting on a single plane, then that force system is called coplanar force system. If the more than single plane, that means if the system, if the forces are acting on the spatial system, which is also called non-coplanar, means in this force system, the forces will not act on a single plane. The forces will act on the different planes. Then the force system is called non-coplanar force system. Non-coplanar force system. That means here forces will not act on a single plane. Forces will not act on the single plane. Here forces will act on the single plane. Here in a single plane, here not on a single plane. So this force system is called 2D force system. This force system is called 3D force system. Again, these force systems are classified into different categories. If you see this, first the coplanar force system, the first category is coplanar parallel force system. This Fs means force system. Simply I have written Fs, but Fs indicate that force system. So the first category is coplanar parallel force system. For example, if you take a single plane like this, okay, some A force is acting here, a force A is acting here, or you can say that F1 For example, this is the point A. At A, F1 force is acting, and also at B, F2 force is acting. If their line of action of these forces parallel to each other, if the line of action of these two forces, or maybe some place C, some more force is there, F3, whose line of action also parallel to this F1 and F2. So all these forces, for example, whatever the number of forces are acting on the body, if their line of actions are parallel to each other, then that force system is called coplanar parallel force system. That means if more than one force is acting on a single plane, then the force system is called coplanar force system. If those forces line of action are parallel to each other, then that force system is called coplanar parallel force system. If the force system, more than one force is acting on, not acting on a single plane, then it is called non-coplanar system. Still their line of action is parallel to each other, then that force system is called non-coplanar parallel force system. Here we'll see example how it looks. For example, I am taking a three-dimensional a box kind of structure, so I am drawing that. Okay, it is a three-dimensional body. For example, a force acting on this plane, this is F1, maybe this is F2, maybe this may be F3, maybe this may be F4. So here the line of actions all parallel to each other. See, this is acting on a three-dimensional body. Okay, now this force is in one plane, this F2, this F3, F4 is in other plane, but all these forces line of actions are parallel to each other. Then this kind of force system is called non-coplanar parallel force system. So if the force system, that means more than one force is acting on the body and these forces are acting on the different planes, then that is non-coplanar system and their line of action is parallel, then it's called non-coplanar parallel force system. So if they're acting in a single plane and their line of action is parallel, then it is coplanar parallel force system. If the line of action is parallel but they are acting on different planes, then it is called non-coplanar parallel force system. If we move on to the next category, the coplanar concurrent force system. For example, consider a body. Okay, some force F1 is acting, some force F2 is acting, some force F2 is acting, some force F3 may be acting. Okay, some force F4 may be acting. Now here, four forces are acting on this body. All their line of actions meet at single point, then you can say that that is a concurrent force system. If all these forces are acting on a single plane, then it is coplanar concurrent force system. If the more than one force is acting and their line of action meets at one point, then that force system is called concurrent force system. If all forces are acting on a single plane, then the force system is called coplanar concurrent force system. Here in this case, for example, if you take here, I will draw here. Here, for example, some F1 force is acting here. some F2 force is acting here. F2 force is acting here, or F3 force is acting here. F1 force and F2 force, F3 force, all their line of actions are meeting here. So in this case also, it is acting on the different plane. This F1 is on different plane and this F2 is on different plane. So here the forces are acting on the different plane. So you will call it is non-coplanar. Still their line of action is meeting. So then what you can say that it is a non-coplanar concurrent force system. So when the forces, more than one force is acting on a different plane, then it is a non-coplanar force system. If their line of action is meeting at single point, then it is called non-coplanar concurrent force system. So now the third category is coplanar non-concurrent, non-parallel force system. This is I simply written in a shortcut. It is nothing but non-concurrent. Either it is not concurrent nor parallel. So non-concurrent, non-parallel force system. Coplanar, non-concurrent, non-parallel force system. That for example, if you take body, okay. Now one force may be act like this F1, some force may be act like F2, some force may be acting like F3, somewhere F4. Here all these forces acting on a single plane, it is coplanar force system, but their line of action not parallel, not concurrent. That means their line of action not meeting at a point. So you cannot say that it is concurrent or you cannot say it is parallel. So you can say that this type of force system is a coplanar, non-concurrent, non-parallel force system. So here the forces, more than one force is acting on a single plane, but their line of action is not parallel or non-concurrent. Then the force system is called coplanar, non-concurrent, non-parallel force system. Now here in the third one is non-coplanar, non-concurrent, non-parallel system. That means here if you say here now F1 may be here or F2 may be here or F3 may be here or F4 may be here. So in this case, there are four forces acting on the body. Okay. Now their line of actions are not concurrent or parallel. So maybe here you may look this F1, F2, their line of actions are meeting, but this F4 and F3 is not meeting. You cannot say this is concurrent force system because this force system is contain four forces. You need to consider all these four forces. All these four forces are not concurrent. Either they are not parallel. Maybe this F2 and this F4 may be parallel, but they're not. All four forces may be not parallel. So this kind of force system is called non-coplanar, non-concurrent, non-parallel force system. Non-coplanar, non-concurrent, and non-parallel force system. So now if more than one force is acting on the different planes, then we can call that non-coplanar force system. If the forces line of action neither parallel nor concurrent, then this entire force system is called non-coplanar, non-concurrent, nor parallel force system. Now the fourth one in the coplanar force system is here if you take a body, okay, now a force at see here F1, F1, here maybe F2, here maybe F3. If these three forces acting on the body and their line of action is a single line. If the line of action is same, then we can say that this force system is called coplanar collinear force system. If more than one force is acting on a single body, then single plane, then it is a coplanar force system. If their line of action of all the forces is same, then we can say that it is a collinear force system, because if it is coplanar, so coplanar collinear force system. In non-coplanar case, it is not possible. Not possible. In this, why? Because if you see here in the three-dimensional one, if you have n number of forces may be acts, their line of action cannot be same unless it is a single plane. If more than one plane, then line of action cannot become same line of action. So in this non-coplanar system, this fourth category is not possible. Not possible. That means this entire force system is classified into coplanar force system, non-coplanar force system, and the coplanar force system again we make categorize into coplanar parallel system, coplanar concurrent system. If the line of action meets one point, if the line of action is not having parallel or not meets at one point, then it is coplanar non-concurrent and non-parallel force system. If the line of action of all the forces on a single plane is same, then we can say that it's collinear force system. Here, if the forces acting on a different plane than non-coplanar system and their line of action is parallel to each other, then it is a non-coplanar force system. If their line of action meets at a single point, then we can call non-coplanar concurrent system. If the line of action not parallel, not meeting at single point, then we can say that non-concurrent, non-parallel force system, the collinear is not possible in non-coplanar force system. Is it clear? Then we will move on to resolution of a force. What we'll get is the resolution. What is meant by that? Resolution of a force is nothing but it's a process of finding number of component forces which will have the same effect as a given force. The process of finding number of component forces which will have the same effect as a given force whose components we are going to find. For example, on at A, some force is acting. For example, I will say that F1 is the force is acting. Now, I need to resolve this F1 into two mutually perpendicular components. So I will take along the X direction. So I will draw a line along the Y direction. So now, if I want to draw this component, what I will do is I will draw a perpendicular line onto the horizontal one. So now this force is making an angle theta with the horizontal, for example. Okay. Now, if I want to find this horizontal component and this force is F1 and this force is F1, we know that what is cos theta? Cos theta is nothing but this horizontal component, this one, the horizontal component by F1. Now, what is sin theta? Now, this vertical, that means mutually perpendicular to this horizontal one. This sin theta is equals to vertical component by F1. Now, from these equations, what I can write that horizontal component of that force is equals to F1 cos theta and the vertical component of that force is equals to F1 sin theta. So then this will become F1 cos theta. Then this will become 1 sin theta. So now if you want to find a force, if you want to find a resolution of a force into two mutually perpendicular directions, I am saying clearly two mutually perpendicular direction, not along x or not along y. So x and y both are mutually perpendicular direction, so you can draw like this. For example, if the body is in an inclined plane, okay, now I am drawing one body here. Okay, if I having, it is pulled by some force F, which is making an angle theta with the inclined plane. So this may be an inclined plane, for example, like this. Now on an inclined plane, a body is here, okay, with some force, some force is applying on it. For example, if I ask you to draw, resolve this force into two component, one component is parallel to this inclined bed, perpendicular to inclined bed. In that case, just consider this as an x-axis, that means that the line parallel to inclined plane, and consider this perpendicular to the inclined plane as y component. So what is the component of this force F along the inclined plane? Then this will be F sin theta. So don't always think that only along the x direction means this one only along the y direction means this one only, because in the problems you may need to resolve the force into along any mutually two perpendicular direction, because it is an inclined plane. So simply you always consider angle of the force along with x direction along the body in which you are going to make the component. Then along that component will become F1 cos theta, and perpendicular to that direction will be the F1 sin theta. So this may be like this. For example, I will take one more thing is any direction. Okay, for example, F1 is some force is acting here with an angle of theta 1. F2 force is acting with an angle of theta 2 with the horizontal. If F3 is a force is acting with an angle of theta 3, this theta 2, and F4 is the force is acting an angle of theta 4. So I have given 4 concurrent forces. Why? Because they are concurrent, because their line of action is meeting here now. So their 4 forces are concurrent forces. So F1 is a force is having an angle theta 1, F2 is a force is having an angle theta 2, F3 is a force is having an angle theta 3 with the horizontal, F4 is a force is having an angle theta 4 with the horizontal. If I want you to resolve into components along two mutually perpendicular directions, along the x direction, y direction. So what will be the, you are going to get here? Now tell me. This one will be the F1 cos.
F1 cos theta.
This one will be the
F1 sin
F1
theta.
theta 1, because the angle is theta 1, no? I forgot, angle is theta 1. Okay. Now for F2, because it is having an angle theta 2, so this horizontal component will be F2 cos
F2
theta 2.
cos theta.
So this is F2 sin
Theta.
So if you read F3 force, what you are going to get is, this is F3 cos theta.
Cos theta 3. Theta.
And here what you are going to get is F3
F3
sin.
sin theta.
Here for F4, because here what you are going to get F4 cos
Theta. Theta.
Here what you are going to get F4
F4
cos
sin theta.
sin. So like that, in any direction, when you know the force, you have to resolve like this. Always in easy way to draw, to find the resolution of force is consider this angle with respect to x-axis. For example, the same F1 is given angle theta 1 with respect to y-axis. Then what will be the horizontal component? This one. So even when the force is given angle with respect to y-axis, what you have to do is you need to consider angle with respect to how, because if it is theta 1, then this will become 90 minus theta 1. Is it none? The angle between x-axis and y-axis will be 90, no? If it is theta 1, this will be the 90 minus theta 1. So you apply here, because we know that when some force is making an angle with respect to theta 1 with x-axis, then it is F1 cos theta 1. So because this theta 1 is with y-axis, so this one is 90 minus theta. So if you keep F1 cos 90 minus theta, cos 90 minus theta will become sin theta, so that you can easily draw. So always, even if the angle is given y-axis also, always better to find with respect to x and keep this here, F1 cos theta, whatever the angle you will get with x-axis, you keep. If it is 90 minus theta, automatically it will become F1 sin theta 1. This one become F1 cos theta 1 if the theta 1 is makes an angle with respect to vertical plane. We'll move to the next topic is the resultant force system. So here the next one is resultant force. Resultant force is nothing but if more than one force is acting on the body. For example, if you say number of forces are acting on the body, you can replace all those forces with a single force which gives the same effect of those number of forces. Then that single force is called resultant force. Then that single force is called the resultant force. You can say that definition, single force which have the same effect as that of number of forces are acting on the body. That means, for example, the F1 may be acting here, or F2 may be acting here, or F3 may be acting here, or F4. If all these forces removed, and if you keep a single force which gives the same effect of all these forces on the body, because of these forces there will be some effect on this body, no? So if you replace all the forces such a way that if this force will have the same effect as that of all these forces, then this force is called resultant force. Resultant force. Now, for example, on a casual note, I will tell you that in Bahubali, in erection of that Ballal Deva statues, all are pulling that, no, with some forces. What will happen if they
Yes,
all
sir.
lose that forces? Single Prabhas will come and keep that thread, no? So that means all their forces, whatever the effect all the people are giving, the same effect single Prabhas is giving. So there you can say that Prabhas has a resultant force. Like that you can understand. That means if some forces are acting on the body, if all the forces are removed and you can keep single force, that force as a resultant force. With this, I will stop the today topic. Okay.